Take us through the process for a moment, because we hear about fast track and the need for a certain amount of notice to Congress, and we hear about getting on an NAFTA. What comes next?
Okay, so where we are right now is the U.S. announced, and this is important, a preliminary deal with Mexico in principle. And now they need to bring Canada to the table. And by Friday, they need to sign the deal in order for a 90-day period to elapse before the deal can be actually signed before the new Mexican president takes office. So Canada's under a lot of pressure this week. It's already Tuesday. Their trade minister's coming to town, and she has until Friday to try and strike a deal and join Mexico and the United States in this deal.
So Wendy, explain that to me a bit, because what President Trump said yesterday, if I heard him correctly, was we'll do it with or without Canada. We've got a bilateral deal. If they can't agree with Canada, then we'll go ahead. Can he do that?
And that people are going to have to look at that. Already, certain congressmen have expressed concern about that and whether that's consistent with the congressional procedures laid out in Trade Promotion Authority. Also, Ambassador Lighthizer seemed to walk away from that a bit yesterday when he emphasized how important it was to bring Mexico into the deal. And we've also seen Republican leadership express grave concern about the possibility of Canada not being in the deal. So we'll have to see how this plays out.
So as the Canadian representative goes to Washington, who has the leverage? It's not quite clear to me whether President Trump has the leverage saying you got to come in right away, Ms. Freeland, or Ms. Freeland says, wait a second, you need me in, Mr. President.
You know, that's a great question. I think the president thinks that the United States has the leverage because he's willing to do a deal with Mexico. However, at the end of the day, Congress has to approve this deal. And if Congress is putting down markers that Canada needs to be in the deal for Congress to vote yes on the deal, then perhaps Canada has more leverage than maybe they think they do this morning.
So, Wendy, it seems fair to say we're not there yet, but at the same time, in fairness, the president has taken a step forward toward what might look like a deal. In a broader sense, is he bringing together our traditional allies, both from Europe as well as from Canada and Mexico, and turning toward China? Because at the same time he announced this, he made it pretty clear he's in no big rush to negotiate with China.
Yeah, and I think that's an important takeaway from all of this, that in the past few weeks we've seen progress with Mexico, we've seen a framework deal with the EU, there have been talks with Japan, and so if we can work with our allies and settle and resolve our differences, then perhaps we can work together to try and urge China to get rid of their unfair trade practices.